Rogers, what will you do if the Apex wasn't there?
Um, I'd probably be training a lot more, like martial arts wise. But I still have a daytime job outside of Apex, and it's helping manage my family business. But I don't know. I'd probably be still be playing a lot of video games if it wasn't like even if I wasn't coaching Apex because it's just something I've always done.
Did you competed in martial arts professionally?
I had ugh, I had a few like amateur fights, but I was a coach in martial arts, which is kind of why getting into coaching the guys, I think, or kind of why I got into coaching the guys. But I was an instructor, and that was like I had two jobs. I was instructing martial arts and working like the family business. So less about fighting and more about teaching for me with martial arts.
So switching from martial arts to gaming, has it been tough for you? Like martial art
Uh,
is totally physical sport and gaming is like of mental and physical both. So yeah.
so I've always done both. I've always had time for both. And when I was a kid, my mum had to, tell me like any night that I was training, I wasn't allowed on the computer, and I had to get off the computer at 8 p.m. every night if I wasn't training. So I've always had kind of like a separation between the two. But I think martial arts has definitely helped with the mental side of gaming in regards to competing and being on stage because, I was only like 11 years old when I started teaching, getting put up in front of the class and I had to kind of tell everyone tell everyone what to do. So kind of from a young age, I was like put in front of people and told to talk. So it's kind of why I'm pretty good at not shutting up, I think.
So you have been coached from a very young age, I would say.
Yeah, so I was teaching for 12 years before I stopped teaching.
Okay. And legacy, what was the biggest challenge you faced in your journey, like till now?
So now, in terms of Apex, time.
In terms
Wasn't
of
it like the time management
Apex,
for Apex, I think, because
okay,
you can
time.
really easily. It's actually what we're doing right now, and haven't even talked to. I've talked to Rogers about, haven't talked to others. But the longer we play, the more I find that we're like putting ourselves into just a little niche play style, and that ultimately isn't going to work. But it's what we're most comfortable with. So I think trying to break out of that right now is probably the biggest challenge so far.
Okay, so playing Apex, was there any moment where you thought, okay, I can actually make a good career out of this?
Maybe after my second ever LAN in Germany, because my first ever LAN, it was just kind of go there, like barely scraped through the qualifiers, and then just kind of had a, I was there to enjoy it more than win. I think we got 11th or so. So like, I mean, honestly, we flew to that 11th for my first one, but it was like a good indication. And then our second LAN, we like Jessica and I played with MT, who was a very well regarded IGL beforehand. It's like after we had two good lands with him, starting in a very rough spot, honestly, and then still getting good results after that. It was about there that I decided it might actually be possible to do.
Okay. And Roger, same question for you. What was the biggest challenge you faced in your journey, like till now?
Um, I think I think challenge was, you know, when you qualify to pro league, if you just join a team, in that's already in pro league, you kind of are following other people in. But if you qualify yourself through like the challenger circuit or preseason qualifiers, and you take either your teammates or your friends there, it's very humbling going from winning and doing well every single night in challenger circuit and then like the game day weekends and then making pro league. Very, very humbling. Um, then playing pro league and kind of doing awful, because there's just in anything you do in your life, there's always going to be someone better than you. And if there
So,
isn't, it's because you haven't found them yet, or you're becoming that person. So you can get there and you can become that person, but if there's no one there to challenge you, then you're not going to improve. And I think a big challenge was kind of understanding, like, I didn't get worse when I got to Pro League. The goalposts just moved. Like I didn't go from being the best in CC and then suddenly I'm not that player anymore. I'm not saying player, but I'm in much better company. And I think it was a challenge. Are you watching Bunny behind me?
Yeah.
It was a challenge kind of coming to terms with that. But then once I got past that, I think it made improving easier again.
So now you both are very successful, I would say. But at the starting of your career, like someday you thought like you can't handle the pressure anymore and you are so demotivated that you are about to quit the game. Has it happened before?
I've never had the moment where I thought I would quit. There was definitely moments where I didn't try as hard, where I thought there was no point in trying. Like I was still playing or practicing at the time, but there was a bit of like a, a lack of effort or maybe concern. I wasn't really trying as hard as I could have just because I didn't think it was going to be worth the time that I was putting in. But never a time I wanted to quit the game.
Yeah. I think I'm pretty much the same. It's like back on my second LAN ever, before we did well there, and actually that was my third one. EWC was my second. But around those times, sitting there, and we had 2 LANs like really close back to back, like 2 weeks apart. And that was before I had actually like considered staying around, like making it, like playing professionally, like properly professionally. But it's going to that, and you get all the pressure of having to do well, and it's just like I wasn't sure if I even wanted to at that stage until I actually did well, and then it's like, okay, yeah, I can stick around for this. And now even if we do badly, like when I first off started RG, I get like 15th or something back to back. It's like I don't think either of us would like would consider that good at all. I'd be really annoyed if we got that again. But even getting a result like that, or God forbid worse, I don't think I'd be like demotivated and not want to play anymore now. But certainly back then, yeah. I think if I started off getting bad results instead of good ones, then yeah, maybe a different trajectory.
Needed to prove it to yourself first.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving ahead, you are both part now of a very good organization like S8UL. So how has been your journey so far in S8UL?
Guess I'll go first. I mean, look, it's been pretty good. So, not sure how much you know about the like previous org I was on, but they imploded. They imploded. So, step up. No, they could SAUL could have been genuinely the second like horrible, and it would have been a step up. But no, everything about them's actually been really nice. We had obviously when we met the guys, and I think Ankita stayed with us that first EWC. And around then, it was like you just got to see that they're all pretty good people. Like even talking to them, when was the most recent time we talked like semi recently, obviously on calls, not in person. And it's like you can see they're just like they're good people. They're like concerned about us, making sure we're happy. And it's like it's pretty nice.
What about you, Rajas?
Bit cool. Getting to meet all the guys in Riyadh at EWC was awesome. It was really cool to see like, the faces behind the organization, even though they're like, in all of the videos and stuff. It was still nice to meet Mortal Thug, EJ, who's like our main contact at the org. It was cool to meet him as well at EWC. And we went out for a lunch with some of them, which was really nice. But the whole experience has been great. Like, just getting to know the guys behind it. It's nice that it's not just a business. I think a lot of companies or organizations get caught up in the fact that, obviously we're playing for money and to earn you guys money, but we're still people. And something that Sol expressed a lot was that they used to be players, and bringing that into the organization, I think has been really noticeable because we feel like they treat us like players, not like things to make money off, or like a business.
Okay, so question for Legacy. S8UL has a very big fan base in India. So do you think carrying such a massive fan base create any additional pressure on the team, or do you see it as more as a motivation?
I don't see the. I don't think I personally feel like the pressure of having more people like hoping we do well. Like maybe to a very small extent, like it's there in the background, like we know. But more than anything, I think we're just wanting to still prove to ourselves, like even us all individually, myself, Jessica, Sharky, Rogers, like we're happy to, like we're very happy to have a bunch of support and like the so-called pressure behind it. But I think ultimately, it's as long as we just, I don't know where I was going with that sentence, to be honest. Yeah,
It's okay. So
yeah. As long as we prove to
so
ourselves,
now
we should.
Rao will take over. Rao.
Hello. Congrats both of you for the amazing, run you have had in the split one. And basically, I am, impressed by the year-on-year performance upgrade we have had. My personal question is, how do you all stay so calm in your calls when the zone is, so off with you, and the clash outs only happen after you are dead, I guess.
I think the guys do a really good job, or have a really good understanding of useless noise. I think all three of them are individually pretty quiet guys. They say pretty much as little as possible, as often as they can. They just try not to talk that much, and I think that comes through into their gameplay, where it's like the only information you need is the important stuff. The only comms you need to give out are the important things, and anything else is cluttering. Unless we're like, if we're having like a game where nothing is going on, sometimes they'll banter in like a spot where we're not doing nothing just to keep the comms, vibrant or alive. But I kind of think it's more their personality than it is like a choice they're making, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's definitely part of our nature. And then I know that basically every time if there are useless comms or people, like I watch VODs back of other teams and they'll just say like random stuff during the fight or just repeat the same thing over and over and over and over. That just annoys all of us because it's actively making it harder for your team. It's like, why? Why? Just make it as easy as possible, make it as clear as possible, and leave it there.
Hmm. There's a question that what difference do you see in team's mentality, Rogers, this year compared to the last year? There has been a lot of performance changes, a lot of calm has been here. I think so the synergy also has been better.
Um, I think the biggest difference between last year and this year's experience for Tom, just as an IGL, Sharky is Sharky. It's what's always said about our team. The first thing that's said about our team is, we've got the two-time, we've got Sharky, which is true. But now in their own right, Legacy and Jessica have been playing the game professionally for 3 years, and haven't missed the finals. Like they're in their own right, very established players, veterans of the game now. And I think Tom or Legacy at the start of last year, learning to IGL, and they basically having to go from the start or from zero, was not what held us back, because I think the expectation for us was, it was a high expectation a lot of people had for us, to do well, which I think is fair because of the caliber of player we had on our team. But I think a lot of people didn't credit how hard it is to learn how to IGL and get thrown into, like, you're playing with Sharky in your team and you've never IGL'd before. You're playing with Jesco's your teammate. You've had him for 2 years, Tom, but you're playing with Jesco, right? He's still, one of the best role players in the world, probably the best role player in our region, if not the. It just doesn't get looked at because he's an anchor. But you have two unreal players on your team, and you're getting told to tell them what to do, and you have to get them, to land and to win. And Tom got a year of IGL under his belt. if not less, because we started in April. So even at champs this year it was a less than a year of IGLing, and I think it was just, I said it to everyone, a lot of people that I've had conversations with over the last year, with like Falcons, like with Droga or even Zero, we're like, like, what's going on? Like, why are we not like? I said, bro, he's like, it's been 3 months of him IGLing. Like, Reese was not as good as he is 3 months into IGLing. Obviously, Legacy has people's experience to learn off now, but I definitely think it was just Tom getting experience under his belt and the guys kind of learning the team dynamic that works best for us. Because initially we tried a few different things, and we kind of settled on like a dynamic that I think works for us. Not like play style or like characters, like interpersonal dynamic.
It was really weird calling, like, because I have a lot of faith in just their autonomous decisions. And it was really weird to start, like, like talking over that and having them do different things than they naturally do, because there isn't often that much of a difference. But getting used to that was a big thing.
That might be
Yeah,
a
yeah.
good answer for your previous question as well. Our comms are calm because we all expect each other to do the right thing, so we don't have to either tell them what they're going to do or ask them to do something in a fight. More often than not, they're going to do what you expect, and I think that helps clear up comms.
I know what was the team's experience of yesterday's 200 ping scrims, and following that, how do you manage the different time zones? When you are playing international scrims, I think so that it's like what, midnight in Australia.
Yeah, it starts in midnight at midnight. Yeah, a lot of fun, a lot of fun. No, we just can't take it too seriously. I think I said it like during the scrims yesterday to the guys, but we can do everything as long as we're not making a mistake that's out of our control. Sorry, as long as we're not making a mistake that is in our control to fix, then I don't really care how the games go. Because ultimately, we're not going to be on 200 ping come LAN. We're not going to have people trying to just run it down and practice fighting. It's going to be a much more controlled environment. As long as we can just get like the first half of the game, do whatever we set out to do, and just be in a position that if it wasn't 2 a.m. and we're falling asleep, if it wasn't 200 ping scrims, as long as we're in a position to convert aside from those, I don't care how the games go, to be honest.
Mhm. For Rogers, I wanted to ask, uh, what is the way you take on the mistakes after a game, after a series? How do you look upon them? Like, how do you discuss about them? And how much of Apex is decision making versus mechanics?
Uh, I think the team sets themselves up uh, for success because of the way they take on or view their mistakes. If I wasn't there, the guys for the most part, would still say, "Look, I fucked up. I made this mistake. I needed to do this instead." Or if our overall game plan was bad, you go back to see where the first mistake started. Because with a lot of games in Apex, you can kind of go back to one point that started all of the mistakes afterwards and follow that timeline. And if you fix that mistake, you're then back on like the real timeline or how the game should have actually gone. And I think what our team does differently um, is kind of view the game that way. You know, it's not 400 little mistakes that cost us a fight. What was the biggest mistake? Isolate that mistake, talk about it, and then we move on. We can't fix 400 things a day. Let's get 1% better today and then move on to tomorrow. And then if that same mistake happens again, we'll really crack down on it, but it won't. It won't happen again. The guys don't make those mistakes again. So it's just what's it called? Just about isolating one thing at a time, addressing that one thing, and then moving on, and then making sure it doesn't happen again, and then we can focus on the next thing.
No, I'm
Hello,
sorry
Tom,
to.
and yeah.
Yes, yes.
Now I will take
Ask.
over one question, please. Yeah. So Tom and Rogers, I would want to ask that what do you think that how the POI draft and this legend bands has affected the Apex? Like it's better for the teams or But it changes for the different teams.
I think it's been very good all around. I think we benefit a lot more than other teams because as a three, we're pretty versatile in all the legends we can play. So come legend bands, we just have to find what works against the other teams more so than what we're comfortable with, because I have full faith in myself and the others to learn and play basically every legend in the game to a very good level. And the same thing with POI drafts. We're not really stuck in, we have to have a crypto, we have to have this, which there just are other teams that are like that. And it means that in a 6-game series, they essentially only have 2 games where they're relying on getting points and everything else is up to luck. Like we have a good 6 games where we kind of expect roughly the same amount of points in every game, despite the legend bans and regardless of where we land. It does mean that we can't do what Rogers likes to do, and you keep track of everyone around you. You know their
Mhm.
timings, exactly when they're going to leave, what they're going to do, because there are different teams, there are different characters. You don't know for sure what they're going to do on game day. You can have an idea, but without that, you used to have a very concrete, just set of this team is here. They leave at 30 seconds to go on ring one. They live here. He's going to be here at this timing, and you could plan all that and plan to counter it if you really wanted to. But now that's just not possible, really.
I'm sorry to ask this, but the chat is going blazing up. What is Roger's daily routine? And if you could share your skincare routine,
My
and
skincare
as
routine.
and most importantly, your barber's address.
My barber. I need a haircut right now. I've needed a
I
haircut for
I
a while.
I think so. I think so. They are absolutely fine with it. You look amazing.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. I shower twice a day, morning and night. I just use I use an exfoliator and a cleanser every day, and then I moisturize every day. That's my routine.
Okay.
Find things with as little chemicals in them as possible, and make sure they're not things that last forever. If you're buying a moisturizer that goes out of date in 2 or 3 years, there's probably stuff in it you don't want to put in your skin.
I wanted to ask, like, what is the meta trend? The upcoming teams or amateur teams misunderstand, and what is the best legend combination or favorite legend combination?
We don't know, to be honest. That's what the international swim's going to be working out. Like, when we scrim in
Uh,
2 hours from now, we're swapping. So,
yeah, we're trying new stuff
must be good.
tonight. We have a game update, 10 days before we play LAN. So we're at the moment, we're trying different things now, and then spending the last week of boot camp after the update, like solidifying and polishing everything. But with an update coming up, no one's really set on meta. So the best thing you can do is kind of find what works for you. But like when you have an update coming up, everyone's kind of just throwing stuff around. And for us, that means trying new things in zone and trying characters we either haven't played before or like kind of put to rest because we didn't think they were going to be prevalent. So for us, it's just trial and error until we find something that we think works, and then polishing it.
What is the thing with the SATUL teams in general is the zones do not prefer them. They're like anti-magnets of zone. So currently also in E districts, the zone have been going off, like in the split one playoffs as well. No playoffs, what regional finals. So how do you rotate? Is there any key, like you practice it, or it's just spontaneous?
It just doesn't like us on the day sometimes. I don't know. Like, we can call it usually better than most teams, but ultimately, it can just flip. And as long as, yeah, I don't know. S8UL's cursed, I guess, in us and all the games.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
that it is.
That's why we always try to play flexible positions or rotatable positions. It's just, Apex is like that. Sometimes you just never get a zone. Other times, like we've had this conversation before, other times you just get every zone ever. Like sometimes, like if you watch, I don't mean this as calling them out at all, but if you look at regional finals in America,
Did say
and if
vision.
you look at, Zach Mazer and Visions, if you look at the zone set they had for that regional finals, man, if they played 9 games, 7 of them were 1 POI away from them, bro. I wish we had that zone set on LAN, I can't lie.
Mm. There's a person in the chat asking, how do you see Axel addition as a new legend? Is it helpful or more annoying? Like it also
More
gives
annoying.
slide buff to knock player. That looks very illogical.
Annoying for us. Definitely doesn't suit us as well. But we need to get the legend bands will come in. Very good for us though. Need her gone, and then we're good.
Yeah.
Took it.
Yeah,
We're just
she's
seeing
annoying.
Pokemon cards.
They're asking to trade cards, man.
In globals, you had a very wonderful run. The momentum was with us. Everything was with us. Personally for me, that reload is still going on, man. I just can't get over it. How did
The
you
finals run.
mentally get over it? Yes, yes. That last fight was.
Yeah, that would have been nice to close out.
Yeah, I think about it
I
sometimes.
don't think we really get over it. It's there.
No,
Like,
my girlfriend mentioned it the other day and it made me sad.
yeah.
I think if we won that fight,
What fight?
if we won that fight, it wasn't just you, Tom.
What fight team, man?
If we played that fight, whatever scenario we have to run that back. If we win that, I hate to say it, but I think we win the LAN. Because just the feeling, the momentum, the position we're in, who's to say what happens? We could bomb out and finish 20th after that because butterfly effect, who knows? That's just how it is. But in my heart, when I'm watching that fight, as we're 3v3ing, not at any point once the fight starts, but when we're about to 3v3 them, I was thinking to myself that we're like, fuck, we're going to do it. That whole game was such a movie for us to get into a position where we're 3v3ing to win that game after already having 2 great games. Bro, I thought we were going to win it all. And we still played well after that. Things didn't go our way in some of the other games between, like what was it, game like 4 and 5, Tom? Maybe 5 and 6. But yeah, just in that moment, I was like, fuck, we're doing it.
Any changes you made into the mindset, after EWC 25, like the performance went suddenly up, like not suddenly, had the scrims as well. You practiced a lot, you gave the efforts, but it went up. And have you seen the S8UL jersey and the new one? What is your rating on it? You can rate it on out of 10.
I want to see the jersey in person first, but it's like, I like it. So I'll say a tentative 8 or 9 right now until I see it in person. Because then
I'm the same.
I need to have a proper one.
I'm the same. I want to see it, but happy with that at an 8. And I think for your first question, besides, I don't know if there was a definitive mental change we made going out of EWC. I think a second finals result of us being off third, if you want to count regionals, being like, that bottom 14 to 20th spot was just another reminder of like, okay, we got to figure match point out. Like we got to kick ourselves into gear here. Ironically, or not ironically, we did bad in the next regionals anyway, but I think it was like you're getting to finals, now figure it out. But I think the biggest difference was that Tom got a good amount of time to just let what he was learning sink in. His schedule up until that point was 3 weeks of Pro League, fly to America, play the New Orleans Open, fly home, play 3 more weeks of Pro League and a regional, and then had how much? Like less than a month of international scrims, Tom? 2.5 weeks?
Thereabouts, yeah.
Yeah, so 2.5 weeks, go to Riyadh, boot camp, play your next LAN, fly back, have less than a month off, play a split of Pro League, play regionals. And he in all of that time, he was supposed to go from getting us to finals to getting top 5. And I don't think it's necessarily unrealistic, but I think it was a big burden to put on someone with no IGL experience. And I think giving him the time that he needed to learn and adapt was why we have improved so much.
Sometimes when the zone goes off, I, we find the team much of the time in the situations when the place we hold is quite disadvantageous to us. Like in the regional finals also, when we were that downhill position, I think so that gives a lot of advantage to the offenses if they attack, and you kind of avoid fights in the early game, and play for the position. You try to avoid fights which should not be taken. So what's that mentality? What's the mindset around it?
I think that's a really good question because Tom and I spoke about that game today, and we
Right.
think it
Literally today. Yeah.
literally a few hours ago we were talking about that game, and we think that game specifically, we mentioned it in one of the answers earlier, but it comes down to our comp. We were playing double defensive character around Wraith because it does suit our play style. We do play zone, but we're losing. Tom mentioned it at the start as well with kind of changing or moving away from an identity. We are losing opportunities by playing not just zone. I don't think we move away from zone. I think it's the best play style in Apex, but we're losing opportunities for bigger games or bigger plays, not necessarily games, bigger plays by playing the double defensive legends. We play Maggie early game, so we do have some form of offensive power, but once she's out, we don't make up for that with a different pick or comp. And a discussion we were having today is moving away from that double defense or double defense pick, so we do have more flexibility once we're in zone. We're always going to play for strong positions or play for a position in zone where we can move from, but incorporating another legend that lets us like take an offensive edge in fights or play a more powerful position or bigger space, like the team behind us was, will let us make plays for bigger games.
Yeah, I don't
What
like.
is the
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
continue.
I was going to say I don't like that way of playing as much because ultimately it isn't playing for the win. Since yeah, we need to change it.
Yeah.
Like not drastically, but we need to not be like we've seen other very, very good teams in North America primarily play in that similar way that if we get nervous, we'll fall into, where it is the scared and avoiding fights, but avoiding fights that should be taken sometimes. And I don't want to fall into that. And then you just like get worse and worse and worse. So I think we're gonna look to start changing that at least for this, like these scrims in this LAN.
Hmm. What is the difference between regions according to like Apex South and other regions, or particularly Australia and other countries and regions?
You gonna go for this one?
The
I don't
game
really know.
style, game
Uh,
style, the
I think because Australia has some of the best players in Apex, and I think the reason for that is that we have such a small population to such a big place that the small community that ends up playing high level Apex is so concentrated that you only verse each other. And then because our region has quite a lot of cheaters, every day you're versing cheaters. And how do you get good enough to beat a cheater without cheating yourself? You grind the game, you play as much as you can, and when you're playing against people that aren't cheating, eventually you can plateau and get kind of become the best. But if you're playing it, you're never going to beat a cheater every single time you fight them. So I think kind of being isolated as a community and only kind of playing with each other, as soon as one person is really good, everyone's fighting to beat that guy, which was Zero back in the day. And I think Zero, Sharky, Empty was like the original big three, I kind of think, with Australia, right? I think us having a concentrated population of people that grind the game made it really easy for them to just always play with the best because they were so good and so far ahead of everyone, and they just maintained that gap. I also think the style of game kind of suits it. I don't know if it makes sense to say, but kind of suits us as a nation. Like, we don't have the discipline to be good at games like CSGO. Like, we have some good players, but I don't think we'll ever be the best at that game. We don't have the discipline to sit there and, kind of check every single angle, hold every single angle. But we do have the, you know, kind of distracted brain or ADHD brain it takes to be really good at Apex. There's a billion things going on all at once. You're trying to shoot people flying through the air or, tap strafing on you, while also IGLing two other people and their abilities on what to do, while there's 57 other people in the lobby trying to kill you. So I kind of think how crazy the game is kind of works out with the fairly common personality that Australians have.
So we can expect to see you in the ENC, I guess.
I spoke to Tom about that. I said, there's no rules against me playing. And then if I get to semi-finals, I can just lose and then coach you in the finals because he's going to get there regardless. But I'm tempted to play for fun. I can't lie. I miss playing.
We're so excited to see you. Trust us. And you know what is more important, like for the newbies, new players want to come in the Apex scene, gun strength or game sense?
Game sense.
Yeah, it'd have to be game sense.
You can shoot your gun, but if you're shooting your gun at the wrong time, it doesn't matter. I'd rather lose the right fight than win the wrong one. I think it's easier to improve your gun skill than it is to improve your game sense.
Oh, the way you guys have been playing and dominating the scene, I should say dominating the scene because you have been. And are there any other orgs tried to approach you?
Not that we
If you
know
wanna
of.
tell us.
Not
We
well.
have
Yeah.
we have an agency that represents us, and they handle all like organizational talks. So we haven't heard of anything.
Okay, okay. What was the Japan experience? And looking forward to Paris, what do you expect?
I'm excited for Paris.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't have any expectations for it besides good pastry and coffee, to be honest. Add for the country itself. The Japan experience was awesome. It's the second time I've been. I think the same for Tom. And like I hope they have every chance there. I can't lie. It'd be cool to eventually have a chance in Australia, but if you told me that Apex was always going to be in Sapporo, I would not be sad. It's just such a fantastic experience the whole time.
Mm. I don't know. The chat is not getting over it. Can Rogers be seen on the walk off for some companies, Fashion Week or something?
uh, I don't know any modeling agencies. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't think actually. I don't know if my tattoos would be allowed on that kind of broadcast because it's technically someone else's art because it's manga. But I think it'd be fun. But that'd be cool.
Oh, they would be stupid to not allow you.
Appreciate that, man.
No, you said you have discipline, you practice martial arts and everything, but has coaching this roster made you more patient or less?
I think it's made me a different kind of patient because a lot of my experience coaching was when you go to train in martial arts, unless you're, a kid whose parent is taking you there because you're not behaving or you're like, kind of going down the wrong path and need to be brought in line. You go to martial arts to learn discipline and be told what to do. So you expect to be told what to do and kind of not yelled at, but, there's a martial aspect to the training. It's martial arts. So you're kind of expecting that level of like hierarchy, instructor telling you what to do, demanding things of you, getting results out of you. And it's really easy, I think, as an instructor to expect people to listen to what you have to say. But I think a big part of teaching and instructing or coaching is not just giving someone the answer. Like if someone's doing something wrong with one of their punches or their movements, I can point out to them what they're doing wrong, but they might not be able to tell that movement, like be able to tell in their head, like why they're making that movement with their body. But if I say like, why is your leg moving that way? Like why are we putting our foot here when we should be putting your foot there? They have to work out why their body's doing that. And I try to view coaching with the guys in the same way. Like if Tom Valk ults and flies to a spot, that's awful. Really bad. Not good. I say, hey Tom,
Never
like when we were
happened.
flying in, did we not see the spot that was over this side? Or before we Valk ult, were we like looking for spots that were in zone already on the map that we could kind of look towards? So instead of just saying like, we've landed in a bad spot, we've died, he knows that spot's bad. I don't need to say, hey Tom, that spot was bad, bro. I need to find out or figure out a way to present the solution to Tom as a question so he gets there himself. Because at the end of the day, I'm not there playing for him. He has to be able to do it on his own when I can't tell him. Otherwise, coaching would be a very different job, and I'd be on fucking crypto duty over Tom's shoulder every day.
What's been the inspiration for your name, Legacy? You said you will not be able to type it. Let us hear it.
I did type it, but I will say it again. So, very first game I played was very first game was Battlefront 2, I think. But beyond that, it was all, I've just played really close. It was all like the Call of Duty games. So this is maybe like 7 or 8 years old or so. At the time, I was playing with my older brother, and my friends didn't really play. I had one friend that played COD at that time, but none of the others really played. So I mainly played with my older brother and his friends. They all wanted to be like the same clan, just be seen as something because it was all cool. So they decided one of them had retro in their name already. So it all became retro name. My brother chose retro ghost. So I just went retro phantom, just being like more or less the same because I'm not creative. Played with them for a long time, but then maybe there was it a Sony hack or a PlayStation hack a long time ago that if you didn't swap your account, username, password, you just lost the account. But I had stopped playing Call of Duty by then, so I didn't really care. Didn't use my PlayStation at all, and eventually lost that account. Couldn't get it back when I wanted to play again years later. So I had to choose a new name. Kept the retro just because my brother was still around. Keep the same as him, but all of his friends and my friends that ended up playing now had just kind of like moved away from playing Call of Duty mainly to other games or just to school in general, I guess. So then I making a new name had to be retro something. I chose Retro Legacy just because, well, they were all gone. Let's keep the name up, keep tradition going, and then eventually dropped off the retro to be just Legacy.
What is the most annoying legendary you know don't want to play against?
Most annoying character, Crypto.
Crypto.
Horrible to verse. Yeah, no one even close to that. Like Maggie's not great, but nothing is as oppressive as Crypto.
It changes the dynamic of the game. Maggie, not similarly, but Maggie does change how you play Apex a little bit. But Crypto is the least Apex character in the game. There is no other character that sits in a corner while doing something else on the other side of the map. There's no other character that gives you unlimited information anytime you want. There's no other character that can fly a fucking webcam wherever they want and look at whatever they want for however long they want. It's such a fundamental change in the way the game is played when Crypto is available. And I think that's why we hate him so much.
Any update for the boot camp? When will you start doing what you will say?
I think we fly out around the 23rd. So I think it's 25 hours of travel, of actual just travel time, not including getting and waiting to the airport and then, either like getting to the hotel and then settling down. I think it's just 25 hours of actual travel. So if we leave on the 23rd, we won't boot camp or start playing properly until the 25th. But I think that's our timeline.
Match point finals not as the most sometimes, like most the major tournaments are that. What is the approach of the team, Rogers? Like sometimes we might have a bad start or unable to maintain momentum here.
Like, how do I try to get the team ready for match point? Or
Motivation when we start off badly and keep us in line.
I think I try to do my best to remind them that if they have if we have cameras on,
Bye.
hold up. If we have 2 bad games to start off a set, the games aren't going to wait for us. If we play 8 games total, we don't know how many games we're going to play in match point, but we have 2 bad games. It's still us that has to play the next 6 games. So we can sit here and be pissy about playing bad, or we can take control of the rest of our games and lock in and fucking play. Like we still have to play the games. Like 2, 3 very established players. Like I think I posed questions to them like, are you guys gonna let yourselves sit here and play bad because you're sad about playing two bad games, or you're pissed about a mistake you made? Or are you gonna forget about those mistakes, wake up and lock in and play the rest of the set out and fucking win? Because you still have to play the game. You may as well enjoy it. You may as well do well. Why waste more games? You've wasted 2. Don't waste any more.
Yeah, we get it. Mayank, you can take over now.
Yeah, sure.
Had a fun interaction with you guys. Yeah.
Where have you gotten that photo from?
We got sources maybe. So, Legacy and Rogers, I've got couple of questions for you both. Like it's a rapid fire, you can just answer in one word. So, which team is the easiest to take a gunfight against?
Ooh. Oh,
Oh, land teams.
Just a team. Just a team name.
There aren't many people that are hard.
We know
Yeah,
the
once
competition is like way more, but still there should be a team. Like we should think that it is easy to like defeat in 3v3.
I think once we make it to LAN and we're not lagging anymore, because we lag when we play normal Pro League, there's no one besides a couple teams that we're worried about, to be honest. We have 2 teams in a lobby normally that we're worried about, or we not worried, I should say, concerned. We have to think about fighting them. But if we get 2 in our heads about who we're fighting, then everyone changes their decision making. So there's no one we think about. But if we had to pick an easiest, do you want like just from our region or
Our region might be easiest. I don't know from
Yes.
land.
Our region? Anyone in the bottom 15? Oh no, sorry, I misspoke. Sorry. Well, there's 30 teams. Anyone in the bottom 25? Bottom 25.
Okay. That's some banter over there. So, okay. So, one more question. Which team always seems to ruin your game plan? Like,
Genji.
you think Genji. Okay. We
But
expected that answer, to be very honest.
for international scrims, it's going to be AG. Genji and
Okay.
AG. Yanya, yeah. We ask ourselves why every time we come up against them in a game.
Okay.
Sometimes
So from
maybe
yeah,
probably not for
continue.
the internationals. No, that's really version. Sometimes not for the international, I think. Maybe for APAC, but yeah, Genji definitely. AG as well.
Yeah. So it seems you got some personal beat with Genji.
We love them and we hate them.
I love them as people, but God, I don't like versing them.
Okay. So from your team, like, who is most likely to push a team without telling anyone? Like, who is the solo rusher in team?
Sharky. Sharky or you?
To win the fight, Sharky, to push a fight without saying anything, me. Because
Yeah, true.
he'll
If Sharky
randomly
knows
just
he
go,
can,
"Hey, I've killed 3 people." And you're like, "Oh,
yeah,
okay."
yeah, yeah. I think if Sharky's on an aggressive character, sometimes he'll just wander off, and very rarely will it, he die, but he'll just wander off and just kind of go, "Ah, I killed this team." I'm like, "Oh, cool, man. Come back to zone. Come back. We're in God's spot."
Okay. Okay. So, what do you think? Who is most likely to become a coach after retiring? Rogers?
In the team?
Yeah, yeah, in the team.
That's a good question. I think Tom's brain makes the most sense because of how pragmatic and analytical he is, but I don't think any of them have the personality for coaching. All 3 of them would rather be the ones playing and would get annoyed watching other people play because they're so good. But I think Tom is the most correct answer.
Okay. And what do you think? Who is the looter? Like, who loots the most in the match? Any of you can
Jessica.
answer that.
Is it Jesco? I feel like
Probably.
sometimes we catch him looting a little too much.
Probably not like the start of the games, but definitely like halfway through when we kill a team. It's
Boxes,
like
yeah. Loot boxes,
boxes definitely.
Jesco's bad for.
Start of the game, I think I'm usually the slowest.
You?
I think start of the game, it's like start of the game, I'll be slowest usually.
Yeah.
Or just like they'll match my timing and it's equal. But yeah, when we get kills though, yeah, definitely just go.
So, like, when we play the game, like, we blame, like, lag a lot. Like, if we get knocked, we blame that our game was lagging. So, is there anyone in team that also blames that the game was lagging? That's why they get knocked?
A bit of coping is good. Yeah, I mean, you'll see if the international schemes. If you can't actually, we can't even see Sharky's POV because he'll try and string it. Will just like all frames will just drop out essentially. So I haven't seen his perspective in a few months, but he tried to do that yesterday, and for me, it's completely
streamed
fine.
for
But him, it's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
I don't
streamed for
even blame
about
him.
an hour and it just doesn't work.
Yeah, no, seeing his perspective, it's so much worse than ours. It just starts warping around. So if he gets annoyed at lag, he's like, yeah, he probably could
Well,
do. physically
sometimes he
something
just disconnects from the
about it.
call for 2 minutes and comes back. It's like, oh, I think I'm lagging, guys. And then we won't hear him for a minute. So we believe him. He's either putting up the greatest act ever as an excuse to kind of say I'm
It's-
lagging whenever he makes a mistake, or he's just telling the truth. And I think he's telling the truth.
Okay, so sorry for taking your time too much, but one last
That's
question
okay.
before you go. Like, what do you think about this concept like we have started, and what is your message for the fans?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
I was saying, like, what do you think about this concept, like the engagement with the fans, and uh, what is what message you want to give to the fans before going to
I
EWC?
think this is cool. I like
I've had
being
fun.
able to like answer direct questions without it being like just, because I'm good at not shutting up. I don't have to type it out, and I can get all of the words out without trying to rethink it 5 times over before sending the message. I think it's cool to be able to put us in front of them live, because besides streams, obviously, but I think, a planned event is a bit more personal. And people can like plan to be there, because obviously the guys never say when they're going to stream. They just throw them up, which is fine. It's just how they do it, but I think this is cool. And message to the fans. We really appreciate the support. It's always nice seeing the comments and messages from you guys. There's never a time where we're like, oh, more support from the fans. Like, how annoying. It's fantastic. Like, it's just always really cool. And it's great to know that, I think similar to in line with the question you asked us earlier with expectations of a lot of fans, we know that if we don't get the result we want, even if it's sixth instead of fifth, if fourth instead of third, there's still going to be support. So I think it's reassuring going into events, knowing that there'll be support behind us.
Okay, thank you, Rogers and Legacy, for joining us today. And Rogers, we love you. Like literally, your hair and your smile is very cute. So yeah, thank you for both of you guys for joining us, and best of luck for the EWC.
I
Thank you very
appreciate it,
much.
man.
And just before you leave, sorry for interrupting again, Um, what steroids do you people take? The team does take. Like one of the person is there fighting and going guns blazing. Like maybe it's Shaki, maybe it's Legacy, maybe it's Jesco, but there is a guy who goes guns blazing in any day.
Oh, it could ever. Yeah, okay. No, everyone just. I think all three players have the potential to go to another team and be the best player on that team in their own right in what they do. And I think because it's a team game, it doesn't show very often. And because Jesco is an anchor player, it really doesn't hold him back, but I don't think it shows clearly. But I think they're just some of the best players in the game. And when people finally get a chance to see us, like Niceweed watching us in for some of our game days, I was saying that I really appreciate him kind of pointing out how good we are because people don't realize it. Not enough people realize how good we are. So I think it's really impressive or surprising when people see us farm because these guys are too fucking good, bro.
We realize how good you are, and I just remembered that expression you gave during that match in the Japan match. The land. Or trust
Oh,
me, we were all like that, and I love
when
that
we
expression.
qualified, yeah,
Yep, yep.
it's something that I can't wait to see from the guys when we win. But until we win a LAN, I don't think I'm going to see that from them, and I don't think you
We
guys
cut it
will either.
close. We cut it close a lot of the time.
Yeah,
Oh no, you
but
don't celebrate.
you
If
don't.
you expect to win, it's like you should
Yeah,
be
but
winning.
if you expect to win a LAN, Tom, are you gonna? And we win that LAN.
Like probably not.
I think we're jumping out of our seats, bro. I think you're
Oh,
getting
yeah,
up and about.
yeah. At the very least that. But if we don't win, like a second, it's yeah, it's a bit rough.
Oh, there are thousands going to be praying for that EWC one this year. Anyways, thank
Okay,
you
Sure.
so
Rogers.
much. Thank you so
Okay,
much for
Rogers.
joining.
One last question before you go. Like last year on EWC, you did like guess who thing like on the stage. So can we expect same something to this year?
Yeah, I had it at champs as well. It's we actually use it. It's funny to look at, but we actually use it.
Okay, thank you guys for joining. It
It's
appreciate
the, that
for your
we
time.
it's the, we love you so much, the team so much that we just keep on asking. The questions will never end.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you for the time.
yeah, yeah. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
joining, Rogers and Legacy.
It's all right.
All the
We
best.
could do another one. We can do another one. Have a good night, guys.
Okay,
Sure, sure, sure.
okay.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Okay, bye. So thank you guys for joining.